Hey, what's up guys, it's Jais, and today I want to talk about one-tick prayer flicking. Now, if I do my job correctly, by the end of this video, your grandma should be able to one-tick prayer flick. So if you don't already know, one-tick prayer flicking is where you have your prayer up at all times, but you never lose a single prayer point. You see I have one prayer point right here, and I can turn on my quick prayers, which are Protect from Melee and Piety, and I never lose that single prayer point, okay? It's a really simple concept. Essentially, you turn your prayer on, and then before the game tick ends, you have to turn your prayer off and then back on. Now, a game tick is every 0.6 seconds, as most of you probably know. But if you're having trouble visualizing this or getting the timing down, I really recommend the prayer plugin through RuneLite. I personally like the prayer flick helper on the prayer orb. Make sure this is turned on, and that's that little blue bar that crosses my prayer orb as I'm flicking. You see the time it takes the blue bar to go from the left of the orb to the right is one game tick. That's every 0.6 seconds. So the simplest you can boil one tick prayer flicking down is turn your prayer on, and then every 0.6 seconds you double click your quick prayers. The timing can be a little tricky. It might take you a little bit of practice to get down, but the best thing about it is that you can practice anywhere as long as you have at least one prayer point. If you're bank standing, if you're fishing, if you're doing literally any piece of content that doesn't require your prayer at that exact moment, you could be practicing prayer flicking. If you're really dedicated, do it next to an altar in your POH or something and just see how long you can go without losing a single prayer point or having your overhead prayers drop. If you get comfortable with having the prayer helper on, you can turn it off or practice looking at another screen or closing your eyes and seeing if you can still prayer flick, because there's going to be a lot of times when you can't sit there and stare at your prayer orb, but you still might need to prayer flick if you only have a few prayer points left and you want to get the last Bandos kill or what have you. Learning how to prayer flick is super helpful. I especially think it's really important for Iron Men to know how to prayer flick, because it can really help reserve some of those precious prayer potions. I personally prayer flick every single one of my Slayer tasks, all bossing content, every piece of raids content, pretty much everything that I have my prayer on, I am prayer flicking. It's really nice to complete a Fire Giants task of 180 Fire Giants without ever using a single prayer point and having Piety up the entire time to make the task 23% faster. But I know a lot of people think that that's too sweaty, or they're too lazy, or they just want to AFK a task, and I totally get that. But it can be the difference between completing a Theater of Blood Verzik Phase 3 because you had a classic P2 Planker and you're about to run out of prayer points, or getting the kill and getting yourself a scythe. So I think it's something that you should at least know how to do, have in your gamer arsenal, and break it out whenever you really need it. Well, thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope I've helped you learn, or at least better understand, one of, in my opinion, the most overpowered mechanics in the entire game of old school RuneScape. I think this is something everyone should learn how to do, and if your grandma's a bit of a gamer, I think she should learn too. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for hanging out, and happy flicking.